Hi all, Rex King here. By now I've placed out on the internet through the YouTube platform approximately 20 or so videos with regard to this organization of Jehovah's Witnesses and what they need to do to get in line so that they can figure out what's going on and actually have the blessing that they're desiring from the Heavenly One, the All, Jehovah as they call him. That's not the proper way to say God's name. I have actually done the research and I know the proper way to say God's name. I'm not going to say it here out of respect for those that still think it to be quite holy. But and the actual core meaning of the name Jehovah, or God, Jehovah, which is actually two syllables. The first syllable is masculine and the second syllable is feminine. You know, Jehovah is masculine, feminine. Its name, the true name of God, represents that, and you can see it in the name Jehovah or Yahweh. Yahweh. Yah is actually the male, the outgoing spirit, and way is the internal. But again, that's not the actual proper way to say God's name. It's a little different, and I'm not going to. The fact of the matter, it doesn't really matter exactly how it's said, because there's only one of them. And so that's why I prefer just to use, where I'm getting into the habit of just calling it the All, the substance that we're all made of, and we're all just a finger on the skin or the surface of the reality of God, and we create this world around us. But that's not why we're here today, and that's not why I'm doing this video. The reason why I'm doing this video is, why did Rex King take it upon himself to feel like he had the wherewithal and the authority to face the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses face to face? I mean, just like Jesus faced the governing body of the first century Jews face to face, letting them know of their practices, that they were not acceptable to Jehovah, to the only true God, the All. Now, how could Rex King possibly have any kind of a parallel to Jesus, any whatsoever, in that he's having to come and discipline the men that are supposed to be teaching the truth to God's people today? Well, hopefully we're not in the brutal world of the first century, because we know what happened to the Jesus back then. And don't get me wrong, I'm not claiming to be Jesus, but I'm a Jesus-like figure, or a prophet. Probably a better one would be at the end of the book of Job. How was it Jehu that came and kind of straightened Job out? You know, Job had it kind of mixed up as the way it's supposed to be. Actually, another good illustration would be at the end of the book of Jonah. Okay, here Jonah's sitting out there, the governing body is sitting out there waiting for the city to be destroyed, and then when it wasn't destroyed, they were so ticked off that they blamed it on the devil or something. I don't know. They came up with some story, but the fact of the matter is God's not going to destroy the earth. He's not going to destroy the city. Okay, he's just not. Now, you know, if he couldn't control it and it would go out of control or something, and yeah, he would destroy it, but that's not going to happen, because he's all powerful and he's going to make it happen and work out. Okay. So anyway, let me get on track. The question is on this slide is the Jesus you need, and he comes back to why Rex. Okay. I mean, the Bible says that God disciplines those that he loves. Okay. And if Jehovah's organization is the crystal of his eye, you know, just this sweet spot that he loves, then why did Rex show up tormenting it like it has over the next few days, you know? Because we know that God only disciplines those he loves. And so if Rex is coming, it's a form of loving discipline. It's not wicked. It's not bad. It might be painful, like a lashing or being put in the stocks or something, you know. I mean, I mean, do you read the Bible, or do you actually believe the Bible? I mean, who was putting stocks in the Bible? I mean, those that claim to be the governing body had to go through different trials to learn their lessons so that they can come to realize, Anyway, why Rex? Okay. Well, let's all agree. Do we agree that if we reap what we sow? Okay. Well, is that a true statement? Do we all agree that we reap what we sow? Okay. Can we agree on that? Okay. If you can't agree on that, then you really need to sit down and figure out who you are. Because if you haven't figured out that if you plant a watermelon seed, you're going to get watermelons. Or if you plant hatred, you're going to get some hatred. Or if you plant love, you're going to get some love. If you haven't quite made those connections yet, sit down and reevaluate your priorities in life. So let's say we agree to this, okay? We reap what we sow. Let's agree to that much. So if we reap what we sow, which we've agreed to, what does the governing body deserve? Their reward for all of your hard work. So for all of the hard work that the Jehovah's Witnesses have done in the last 150 years, what does the governing body deserve? That's the question. In fact, that's really what this is all about right now, is they're waiting for their reward. So what is the reward they deserve for all the hard work that you've been doing, preaching and so forth and so on? Because, there's no question that y'all have done the work. The numbers they published, I'm sure, are accurate to some great extent. Now, how skewed they are because of cognitive dissonance, I call that, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, so what should their Jesus be like? Okay, what is their reward? What should be their reward? What should their Jesus be like? Okay. In other words, the Jesus you need is the one you get, because God loves his servants, and so he sends a Jesus. In the first century Jews and the Pharisees back then needed the Jesus they got. Okay, why Rex today? Why is the governing body, the body that's being directed by Jehovah himself on earth today, no doubt in the minds of everyone that should be listening to this video right now, if they're a dedicated Jehovah Witness, if they believe that, how in the world could Jehovah allow a Rex to show up and start tormenting them? Because that's the Jesus they need, okay? Now, is that true, okay? In other words, do I have proof of everything that I'm saying? These videos that I've done, how I've humiliated the governing body because of their ignorance. Was it worth it? Was it needed? Was it required? Okay, let's finish this slide. And I assure you, if you don't agree with me by the time at the end of this slide that this was absolutely necessary and now it's your turn to take action as well, then you're lying to yourself and to everybody around you, because you don't believe in nothing. What does the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses need to learn? What is it? What is it that Rex is coming to tell the governing body that they need to learn? What is black magic? That's my question. To all the Jehovah's Witnesses out there that were never told to read other literature, in fact, restricted from it, never allowed to understand anything about reality whatsoever, that's my question. What is black magic? Do you know what black magic is? Does the governing body know what black magic is? The praying, manifesting 99.5% of mankind at least to die. And why? because they don't believe like the governing body believes. And then the governing body has decided that they believe things perfectly because Jehovah has told them, and that's exactly what they're teaching. And because of that, they believe this, and that all these people need to die. And if that's not black magic, I don't know what is. If that's not black magic, I don't know what it is. Well, the fact of the matter is, I know what black magic is. Like, I know it so well, I've refined it down to a two-word definition. What is black magic? I've refined it down to a two-word definition. This is an E. It's supposed to be an E anyway. Okay. Negative, if I spelled it correctly, negative thinking. Negative thinking, period, is black magic. Period. Because we are creators of our lives. And we create by means of our thoughts. And so if we think up negative things in our life, like I don't feel good and I hurt and I'm sick and I'm imperfect and I made an and I did something so terrible I can't forgive myself for it. When you say all those things, guess what? You reap what you sow, and you just created all things in your life. The governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses don't understand that simple principle of what is black magic. The constant projecting of negativity on yourself, and by fact that you are a creator, you are a son or a daughter of God, which means God creates by his thought. God created everything out of nothing, out of his thought, the very substance that he is, the energy form that he is, the only one true substance in the world, which we are created from. Everything is. I mean, this is basic physics and mechanics. I mean, it's nothing special about this stuff. And I assure you, everyone in the world, when they go through this with me, or anyone in the world that hears this, okay, and goes through this with me, and when they realize, and when the world begins to realize that the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society through the governing body is having its members pray and manifest mankind to die, if they're not going to say that y'all the most wicked organization on earth, black magicians, you know, they've been preaching this harlot on top of the Babylon the great harlot of mankind and so forth. If I haven't just proved beyond any shadow of a doubt that the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society through the governing body are practitioners of black magic, and they deserve to be numbered with that harlot, false religion that needs to be destroyed, because it is misleading mankind into thinking black magic is a good thing, and it is not. It is negative thinking on purpose, and it's on purpose because you can use fear to control people, and that's exactly what this organization has been doing through this governing body. And the fact of the matter is, this isn't the only organization doing this on earth today. There's political organizations using the same tactics of black magic, projecting out negative thinking on purpose in order to manipulate people. There are business enterprises like Fox News that are doing that on purpose, projecting out negativity. Negativity. Why? Because you reap what you sow. And if bad news sells, you promote bad news, because bad news is going to make more bad news, because negativity makes negativity. It's a black hole. And Jehovah's Witnesses are caught in it like a lot of other people on this earth, until they come to realize you cannot allow black magicians to run havoc on the earth. You just can't. You have to stop them. You have to put the law down that you will not be allowed to infect mankind with negative manifesting, preying on mankind with manifesting of wickedness on purpose. Look, I think I'm pretty much done with this. If you haven't figured this out yet and understand why I have been so adamant and so urgent about the need for this organization to recognize what it really is, and it refuses to look at the facts. And the facts is anyone regardless of who they are, that does this on a regular basis on purpose, they're black magicians and they are wicked. Now you know why Jesus is so mad.